Hey, TEMITOPE here. Happy June. We are still at my house / mini farm. Instead of being outside, we're inside because we're getting into like spring, summer, which means mosquitoes. So we're inside. We already have a little update for you though, since the last time you were here. We are now down to 7 chickens. 7, God's number. It's the number of completion. It's also the number of skunks that I found underneath my house. Yeah, it was pretty bad. One day my wife went into the bathroom, the kids' bathroom / guest bathroom, and was like, it smells like poop. And I was like, well, go figure, it's the bathroom. Well, again, like I said in my little video about 10 things I hate about my wife, I hate that she was right yet again. It was poop. It wasn't human poop though. It was the poop of skunks, a mom and 6 babies living underneath our house, and I had to get them out and they are now gone. But the skunks were some trouble. They were a lot of trouble. Along the lines of trouble again, we, as I said earlier, are entering spring and summer, which means mosquitoes. You know what I'm talking about? Mosquito haven. And we have rain barrels outside. Why do we have rain barrels? Well, because my wife Jordan and I are hippies and we're trying to recycle and teach our kids about using resources and not and treating the earth well and blah, 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 blah. Rain barrels, right? You catch the rainwater, you recycle the rainwater, you use it for your garden. You could use it if it was clean enough to feed your animals, but we mostly use it for the garden. They're also great for homing mosquito larvae. And so around our house, there has been more mosquitoes than normal because the rain barrels have become attractive for mosquitoes to come, do their thing, and then lay the eggs, and then more mosquitoes hatch. So how do you combat that kind of trouble? Well, with fish. So now we have fish. They eat the mosquitoes and they keep the algae down. Also, they kind of eat the algae and then they poop, but not the bad kind of poop like the skunks in my crawl space. They poop the good kind of poop that goes into the water, which creates fertilizer for the garden so that the plants and the vegetables can grow even better. So would you look at that? There's bad trouble and there's good trouble. So trouble, that's what obviously I'm talking about this month in June. But like I said before, there is bad trouble. There's also good trouble. There's trouble that's worth making. The late Representative John Lewis once said, get in good trouble, necessary trouble. One of the most notable ways that he lived it out is when he led over 600 peaceful protesters over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama as they were marching for civil rights. And a really historic event happened there called Bloody Sunday, where as they were marching, they were met by law enforcement and racist people that lived in Alabama, and they were beaten so badly that the whole area was covered in blood. It was called Bloody Sunday. I've actually been there myself, and you can see just remnants of what had happened there. It almost feels like you're moving back in time when you are in that area. It's insane. But they were there raising good trouble because they were marching as a way to protest the fact that people that look like me could not vote in this country, and because of their work and the work of many others and many other people who raise all kinds of good trouble in this country, I now have the opportunity and the right to vote. Another good example of good trouble we recognize on June 19th, also called Juneteenth. A white major general named Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation, which officially ended slavery. So again, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed 2 years before Juneteenth happened, but some of the states were not actually abiding by this new law to allow black people to be free. In fact, a lot of these states, their whole ecosystem and economy was built literally on the backs of black people. So they weren't willing to just give it up. So the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863, and in 1865, Juneteenth was carried out. And undoubtedly, that general, him enforcing that, made a lot of people angry. Right? They were like, you are destroying our lives. You are causing trouble, which has created the reality in which we live today, where for the most part, people that look like me, Asian people, Hispanic people, women, we all have more rights and more space to be ourselves in these United States. So those are just 2 examples of how good trouble has been instrumental in widening tables and creating more space for us to be in this world. But raising good trouble is actually not a human concept. I would argue that good trouble actually has come from the idea of raising holy trouble that we see Jesus doing all throughout the scripture. In John 16, verse 33, Jesus said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Why would we have trouble? Well, it's because we follow him. In John 10, when Jesus actually commissioned his followers, the 12 disciples, he told them, "You will have trouble because you follow me, because you love me." He specifically told them that everyone would hate them because of them loving Jesus. And that shouldn't be a surprise to us. In a world that's dark, any light is gonna cause some trouble. People don't want to be in the light. They like the dark. So when we, as the children of light, are walking around sharing the hope of Jesus and the salvation that he brings, spreading the light, we shouldn't be surprised that the world is turning on us and hating us and not liking what we're doing. One day, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. But until that day, we, his followers, are going to continue to face opposition as we spread his hope in the world. But we can take heart because, like that verse says, one day every knee will bow, every tongue will confess. He has overcome the world. So even though we are fighting a battle against darkness as children of light, one day he will ultimately win, and we can live in that reality today. So even as we go into the world and we face opposition and we face trials and we face troubles for causing holy trouble, we can take heart, because as we do so, we are only allowing the kingdom of heaven to be further expanded into the world that we're living in today, creating more space for you and me and I to see and experience the realities of heaven in the here and now. Well, as you may have guessed, on June 6th, I am releasing a song with that title, Holy Trouble. Surprise! I'm sure you were like, there's no way he's talking about all this holy trouble without there actually being a song called Holy Trouble. Well, yes, I am. I am doing this all on purpose. Ben said I'm the master weaver, and I agree, I am the master weaver. Sounds weird, but yeah, I weave things, okay? But on June 6th, Holy Trouble comes out. I am releasing it with my good friend, fellow co-writer and fellow artist, David Leonard. Great guy. We wrote that song with our buddy Ethan Holtz years ago, and we've been sitting on it, and it feels like right now is the time to release it. So I'm very excited for it to get to your ears on June 6th. So be sure to pre-save it and pre-add it when you see all of those links become active very soon. Another really cool thing that we're releasing this month is we are going to be releasing No Broken Bones Live, recorded with my friends Woodlands Worship on Easter. It was so rad to be able to share that song as a part of the Easter service, and so many people have just responded really well to it online. We're like, let's put it out. So it's gonna go only to my YouTube on June 18th. So make sure you look for it on YouTube and not on your favorite digital streaming service, because it's not gonna be there yet. But what will be there is Holy Trouble on June 6th and a song called Sober on June 27th. So make sure that you pre-add and pre-save that song as well. Again, I cannot tell you enough how important it is and how thankful I am that you are actively helping to get that song out into the world. There's 3 things that I always ask you to do. I'm going to continue asking you to do. Now, sharing as the songs come out, please share them with your family and your friends. As you see posts, social media posts about that song, or even other things I'm doing, like trying to catch a skunk or putting goldfish in rain barrels. Anytime you share content that I'm doing, it gives people more of an opportunity to become aware of what I'm doing, the music I'm creating, and the ministry that we have together. It costs you literally nothing, but it really makes a big difference. So please continue sharing. Engaging, that's another thing that is really important that y'all are so great at. When you see my content, when you comment on there, when you like, when you share, like I said earlier, all that engagement again heightens my brand awareness. It means the world to me. And 3, praying. Praying is the fuel. I say it every time, praying is the fuel. And there are so many times in the day, literally, I can just feel your prayers. And so thank you for doing that. One thing I want to celebrate with you is that last month in May, I was very humbled and honored to see that my song, In All Things, was actually the #1 song on the Worship Rising playlist, and I ended up being like the cover photo of the playlist itself. That's a pretty big deal. It's an editorial playlist that's not curated by anybody or any labels. That's set up by Spotify alone, and I think that's a way of them recognizing just how my music is continuing to grow, which again is thanks to you and to your support, to your sharing, to your engaging, and to your praying. So thank you for doing that. I hope that you celebrate with me just like how far we've come, and that this accomplishment of getting to be the #1 song on that playlist in the face of it is something that I don't just get to celebrate alone, but we celebrate together because we have been building this together. Hope you're as encouraged as I am. There's a fly in my face, but I won't be distracted by it anymore. Thank you for listening to this update. I pray that wherever you are, wherever you're at, that you would know that God sees you, He loves you, and He is for you, and so am I. And stay away from staying outside for too long because there's mosquitoes. Have a great month.